Hello, and thank you for joining us today. We're going to be talking about Australis experience. Let's begin. Australis is a small expedition cruise line that sails through the inner fjords of Patagonia and Tierra del Fuego between the countries of Chile and Argentina in the southernmost tip of South America. We have two main port cities. One is Punta Arenas in Chile and Ushuaia in Argentina. I like to highlight these two cities, not only for you to see it as a port city, but also as an option of pre or post, since it has a lot of culture, history, and a lot of attractions that are worth visiting. Australis has two sister ships. One is the Stella Australis and the other one is the Ventus Australis. Both ships have 100 cabins and up to 200 passengers. We're especially designed for excursions. We do 2 expeditions a day, one in the morning very early and one in the afternoon. So our passengers will spend a lot of the times outside our ships. The way we do these transitions is through Zodiac boats. As you see on the screens, we have our ships and then we take passengers from the ship onto the Zodiacs and then to the land for them to explore, accompanied by our experts guides. Here you have another view on how this transition works, and we hook the Zodiacs to the ships. That way we have a smooth and dry transition. So you will not be getting wet throughout this process. We will be visiting bays as well as islands and glaciers on the Zodiacs, and then landing on the beautiful, beautiful Patagonia. For our excursions, we divide our groups by 2 criteria. One is language. Our main languages are English and Spanish, but we also offer French, Italian, and German. And we also separate it based on levels of difficulties. Passengers can decide to stay down the shoreline and admire the landscapes, go on mile walks, and those that are more physical, have more physical endurance, they can go on a more demanding hike to a higher point. That way they can have a 360 view. Now, we pride ourselves a lot in taking care of these pristine areas. In Patagonia, you will not be seeing other human beings. You will actually be encountering fauna and flora, and just accompanied by your fellow passengers and guides. For us to take care of this pristine area, we actually place wooden platforms on the landscapes to ensure, 1, the security of our passengers, and 2, the security of the lands that we walk on. At the end of each season, we remove this wooden platform, and that way we allow the floor to heal and go back to its original form. So we're very proud to say that Patagonia has remained the same since we started sailing 30 years ago. We're also plasticless. We do not have water bottles on board. We actually provide canteens, as you see on the screens, to our passengers. That way they can refill it with purified water dispensers that we have placed through our ships. By eliminating water bottles, we have eliminated 75,000 water bottles waste per season. We're very proud about that initiative. We're also paperless. We actually have an intranet on board that passengers can access with their smart devices, and that way they can access all the important information and documents that they need for their trip. We do not print documents and hand them over on the ship. That way we also avoid this waste. Here you can see those passengers that decided to stay down the shoreline. As you can see, these landscapes are very big and beautiful, and it doesn't matter which type of excursions you decide to do, you will have a beautiful view no matter which point you're admiring from. Our signature stop is Cape Horn. Cape Horn is the last piece of land before Antarctica, and the difference between us and the rest of the cruise lines is that instead of surrounding the Horn, we actually take you on the island to set foot on the island very early in the morning, just so you can enjoy the beautiful sunrise from this mythical place. You will get to visit the Albatross Monument and experience the beautiful and strong winds that are in this area. Also, one of our highlights in our routes are the Magellan penguins, and you get to see penguins no matter which route you decide to take with Australis. You will get a lot of encounter with not only with penguins, but with fauna and flora, very unique from this area. Our experience is very rich in knowledge and content about the history, and fauna and flora of the area. So as you're walking and exploring these beautiful landscapes, you will have a guide informing you about the animals, the flora, fauna, and history of this area. We also have lectures on board where we discuss these topics. For these excursions, since Patagonia, the weather is kind of unpredictable, you can experience the 4 seasons just in one day. So we recommend our passengers to dress with the onion method, with a lot of waterproof layers. That way they can take it off or put it on depending on the conditions that they experience. Now, life on board. As I mentioned, we are a small expedition cruise lines, but we are actually very spacious. All of our lounges, salons, and rooms have panoramic windows for you to admire the beautiful landscapes that we are surrounded by as we go in this journey. We have different decks where you can relax and enjoy these areas where you can read a book or play board games to enjoy these areas. The only difference between the Stella and the Ventus are the decoration in size, as you can see in the images, but the ships actually are designed the same. As far as our cabins, we have different type of cabins. The simplest ones are the B cabins, and as you go up in category, what changes, all the cabin size remain the same, but what changes is one, the deck that you're located. The higher the cabin, the higher the deck, and the size of the window that you have on your room. As you can see the cabin B on the screen, and as you go on category, cabin A, it gets a little bigger, and as you go to the AA and AAA, the window gets bigger, but the size, it remains the same. We can accommodate these cabins as matrimonial or with twin beds, depending on your needs. When we get to the superior cabins, you're gonna see that the size gets bigger. Here you have a superior cabin. The size of the cabin gets bigger, and the window also is a little bigger. It's from ceiling to floor. We have 4 of each of these cabins in each of our ships. And here you can see the difference between the decks as well as the cabin size. We pride ourselves on our food and culinary experience. We actually use local ingredients, but we provide international cuisine. All of these cuisine and meals are included in the Australis experience. So the drinks, meals, lectures, excursions, absolutely everything that I've mentioned in this presentation are included in the Australis experience. We have a very interesting excursions activity, that we do on board, and it's actually the Glacier Alley, where we pass through the alley that have different glaciers with country names. And as we're passing by each glacier, we're talking about the history of this glacier, as well as providing you with food and drinks from each country that the glaciers are named after. Here you have the format of the lectures. For those passengers that do not speak the language that the lectures is presented on, we actually provide the translating devices. That way they do not miss any type of information that we provide on board. Now, as far as our routes, we have 4-night routes, 5 days, and which are one way. You can depart from Chile and arrive to Argentina, or vice versa, or you can combine both routes to create an 8-night itinerary, which will be a round trip. Depending on the country that you depart, you will go back to the same country. The difference between our excursions, you'll see them here on the screen. Each of the dots, the red dots that you see on the screen, are actually excursions where we take you from the ship onto the land to explore. This is our Fjords of Tierra del Fuego route, and we also have our Patagonian Explorers route. Now, once you combine these two these two itineraries, I don't want you to think that you're going to be repeating the excursions. The only excursions that you'll repeat will be the Cape Horn, which gives you twice the chances to land and explore this beautiful place, and Wulaya Bay. That even though we visited twice, we actually land in different places, so you're going to get to experience this beautiful place from 2 points of view. This is the Ushuaia Punta Arenas route, and as you can see, we have the excursions as well as the different route that we navigate. In here, you can also see that we include Cape Horn and Wulaya Bay as well. On each route also, we get to see penguins And again, we visit Cape Horn on both itineraries. Thank you so much for your attention today. I truly appreciate you wanting to know more about Australis, and I hope I provide you with a lot of information about it. But I also want to invite you, if you're still curious about it, to our specialist course is australisagents.com. And there you're gonna be able to see and explore more about Australis experience. It's an interactive course where you're gonna just be discovering more information about us. And also our marketing portal, there you're gonna be able to download beautiful images, videos, brochure, ebooks, and many more information that you can use later on to talk and discover more about Australis. Here I leave you with our contact information, phone number, and email. We're open for any questions that you may have, and we can't wait to have you on board. Thank you so much again for joining us today.